Hello friends. So today I am going to discuss reported speech, which is also called as indirect speech or narration. So first we will discuss what is direct speech, then we will see what is the difference between direct speech and indirect speech, and what are the rules to change a direct speech into indirect speech. So let us start today's topic. So first of all, let us discuss what is reported speech. So reported speech is nothing but it's a way of conveying what someone said without directly quoting their exact words. In other words, it's like summarizing or paraphrasing what was said. For example, you can see in the picture a conversation going on a telephone. The first one, I like Peter. This is an example of direct speech. And the same thing is conveyed to other person. Here, she said she liked you. This is an indirect speech. And we know indirect speech is also called as रिपोर्टेड स्पीच. इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच को ही हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? रिपोर्टेड स्पीच. सो रिपोर्टेड स्पीच इज नथिंग बट एन इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच. Indirect speech is also known as reported speech. Please keep in mind. It's a way of conveying what someone said without directly quoting the exact words. Instead, you report the meaning of their speech. So both in direct and indirect, meaning will not change. Here are example for you. She said, I am happy. This is an example of direct speech. The same can be written like this. She said that she was happy. So we have seen that all the commas and quotation mark has been removed when we change a direct speech into indirect speech. Here are pictographic representation of direct speech and indirect speech to clear your concept. So let us see what is in this picture. So here are some examples. I will call you tomorrow. So this statement, this is an example of direct speech. And the other one, the girl talking over the phone, he said that he would call me the next day. This is an example of indirect speech. Or we know indirect speech is also known as reported speech. The first one is direct speech. So what is direct speech? Direct speech is when you report someone's exact word. Means when we quote someone's exact words, it's called direct speech. It's like quoting someone directly. How to use direct speech? So we how can we differentiate between a direct and indirect speech? So let's see what are the differentiation marker which separates a direct speech from an indirect speech. So you can identify a direct speech by looking at quotation mark. So use quotation marks to separate direct speech and place a comma after the reporting verb like said, asked, replied, etc. Example, I am hungry, she said. So I am hungry. This is an example of direct speech because it is placed in quotation mark. The same can be written in indirect speech like she said that she was hungry. Note, in indirect speech, the tense of the word usually remains the same as the original utterance. So now we will see what are the rules to change a direct speech into indirect speech. So when we change a direct speech into indirect speech, there are certain changes. The very first change is change of tense. Change of tense. Generally, tense of the reported speech shifts one step back in time. For example, I am tired becomes he said he was tired. So it will change into past tense. Exceptions. The tense will not change in the case of habitual actions or universal truth or general truth. The second greatest change is the change of pronoun. So how the pronoun changes? So there is a shortcut formula for you. There is a mnemonics to remember, that is SON rule. SON. What does SON means? S here means first person, O here means second person, N here means third person. S means subject, O means object, and N for no change. Subject, object, N for no change. So we will make use of this rule to change the pronoun. For example, here you can see in the yellow box the sentence of direct speech. He said to her, I like coffees. So I here is the first person. So first person here will change according to subject. So which is the subject? He. So I became he. So you can see in the indirect speech, he told her that I has now changed into he. He liked coffee. So what is first person, second person, third person? So we know first person I and we, second person you, and third person he, she, it, they, or it can be name of any person. A proper noun can be there. So what we have seen, when we change a direct speech into indirect speech, there are two major changes: the change of tense and the change of pronoun. Some time and place adverbials also changes, like now will become then, here will become there, this will become that. So these are the some of the words which will change. Some models will also change, like can will become could, may will become might, shall will become should, will become would. Punctuation. So in indirect speech, all the quotation mark and comma you can say is removed. So the quotation marks used in direct speech are removed, and in place of that we use conjunction that. The verb used to introduce the reported speech are like said, told, asked. These are the reported verb we use. For example, she said. Here comma has been used and then quotation mark. So in indirect speech, these all will remove. She said. Now remove the comma and we will use conjunction that. And we have already discussed that first person will change according to subject SON. 1, 2, 3. So I the first person, it will change according to subject. So subject here is she. So she said that she was going to market. Tense has also changed. I am going to become present continuous will change into past continuous. Then comes the change of interrogative sentence into indirect speech. This is very, very important. Here we generally commit mistakes. A student, they get confused in changing an interrogative sentence into indirect speech. So here are the points to remember whenever you change an indirect speech, that is interrogative sentence into indirect speech. So here are some of the points you need to remember. Use a reporting verb like asked. Since this is an interrogative sentence, so reporting verb said will be changed into asked, inquired, wanted to know. The word order will change. The sentence will become assertive at the end. And in place of that, we will use if or whether. If the question is yes, no. Yes, no type questions. Yes, no type question means वैसे question जिसका जवाब हाँ या ना में मिलेगा. In that case, we will not use that. In place of that, we will use if and whether. And then we will change the pronouns as per the rules. So let's see one example. He said, where do you live? So how it can be changed into indirect speech? First of all, said will be changed into asked. So it will be written like this. He asked. That will not change because this is WH question. So it will start like this. He asked, where you. This is the second person. It will change according to the object. So he asked where I lived. And question mark will also be removed because the sentence become assertive in indirect speech. Then there is one example of yes no type question. She said, can you help me? How can you change this interrogative sentence into indirect speech? So since we know this is yes no type questions. So yes no type questions, in such type of questions we use either if and whether. So she asked me if I could help her. They said what time it is. It can be written like this. They asked what time it was. So we have seen that all the commas, quotation mark, and in question mark, these all have been removed in indirect speech. So please note, if the question does not start with question word like who, what, where, when, how, if or whether is used. Means there are two types of question: yes, no question. So yes, no question uses either if or whether. And there are other category of question which starts with word like what, when, where. So it will start directly with what, when, where, how. We will not use if or whether in WH questions. So for yes no questions you can use either if or whether. This is very very important. The tense of the word in indirect speech often changes based on the reporting word tense. So change of the rule of change of tense will be same for everything, for all the types of sentences. Then there comes sentences related to order, command, and request. So how will you change such type of sentences? For example, when changing orders and commands into indirect speech. So what will be the reporting verb? So the reporting verb will be like told, order, commanded. And after that, infinitive will be used. What is infinitive? 2 plus be1 form of the verb is called as infinitive. For example, in direct speech, there will be question like this. She said, close the door. So it will be changed into indirect speech like she told or ordered, she ordered to close the door. So we have seen, we have used infinitive 2 plus b1. So this is 2 plus b1 to close. So the sentences which suggest commands or orders, it will be changed using infinitive 2 plus b1. She told me to close the door. Then comes request type of sentence in which there is a request. So same, how it will begin like, direct speech will begin like please help me. There will be word like please. So it will be changed into requested in indirect speech, or sometimes it can be kept asked. Generally we use requested in case of request. So please help me, she said. So it can be changed into indirect speech like she requested me to help her. So everywhere you will find the 2 plus b1 infinitive will be used. So points to remember. So here while changing order, request or command sentence, please keep in mind the infinitive form of the verb follow the reporting verb. So infinitive form of the verb means 2 plus b1 form of the verb. The tense of the infinitive does not change. So 2 plus b1 it will always remain 2 plus b1, its tense will not change. Then changing exclamatory sentence into indirect speech. So how you will change exclamatory sentence into indirect speech? This is the question. So same here, only reporting verb will change. In place of said and told, reporting verb we will use like exclaim with joy, exclaim with sorrow, exclaim with surprise, cried out in anger. And we have to remove the exclamation mark as we have done in the interrogative sentence. So there will be no exclamation mark in indirect speech. It will be removed finally. Let us see some example. How beautiful the flower is, she said. So it can be changed into indirect speech like said will be changed to exclaimed. So if it is surprise or wonder, so you can add exclaim with surprise, exclaim with wonder. How beautiful the flower is. That the flower was very beautiful. Alas, I have lost my purse, she said. She exclaimed with sorrow. We know alas is used to express some sadness or sorrow. So she exclaimed with sorrow that she had lost her purse. Hooray, we won the match, they shouted. So this is a moment of joy. So it can be written like this. They exclaimed with joy that they have won the match. Last is the optative sentence. What is optative sentence? The optative sentence is a sentence which expresses wish, desire or prayers. So while changing such type of sentences, we have to be careful. We use reported verb like wished, prayed, hoped. Let us see some example based on optative sentence. May you live long. So how will you change this into indirect speech? So said will be changed to wished. So he wished that I might live long. May will change into might. God bless you, she said. She prayed that God might bless me. Oh, would that I were a word, she exclaimed. She wished that she were a word. So these are the some of the rules to change a direct speech into indirect speech. Generally, we get stuck in interrogative sentence. So we have to be very careful while changing an interrogative sentence into indirect speech. Thank you.